Brought to you locally by Service Chevrolet, Rouse's, Bayou GMC, Premier Health Lake Urgent Care, Gulf State Toyota, Lewis Mechanical, Sterling Automotive, Pipe and Steel Industrial Fabrication, Neighbors Federal Credit Union, Super Chevy Dealers, River Parish Contractors, Supreme Automotive Group, and Luba. This is LSU Fighting Tiger Football on Eagle 98.1, The Rock Station.
Broadcast of LSU Fighting Tiger Football is an exclusive presentation of the LSU Sports Radio Network, a division of LSU Sports Properties and Playfly Sports, through rights granted by Louisiana State University, and is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or streaming of the accounts and descriptions of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of LSUSP, Playfly Sports, or the university is strictly prohibited. Division of Playfly Sports.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-126-81. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Eagle 98.1 WDGL and HC1 Baton Rouge. Eagle 98.1 Game Day is on the air. Presented by Super Chevy, your local Super Chevy dealers. It's time to talk LSU football on the flagship home of the Tigers. Call 225-499-9898. It's Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, here's Charles Hannegriff and Richard Dixon.
A first-half dream turns into a second-half nightmare as A&M blasts LSU 38-23 in College Station. Good evening, everybody. I'm Charles Hannegriff, along with Richard Dixon, Michael Patel, and Taylor Sharp here in the studio as our producers tonight. Taylor Sharp particularly has a great sense of timing. He volunteered to work one postgame all year, and it was this one. Nice call there, Taylor. First half, LSU controlled the action. They couldn't run the ball, but Garrett Nussmeier threw for 259 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that included some drops. And the LSU defense had Connor Wigman so out of sorts that there were only 2 things to be worried about when LSU took a 10-point lead to the locker room. Number one, with a nearly 2-to-1 yardage advantage, LSU's lead should have been bigger. 2 missed field goals, and LSU shutting down a drive at the end of the first half when Nussmeier got his foot stepped on, kept the lead at 10. 2, would Mike Elko move to Marcel Reed, who had played in 4 games and started 3, all of them A&M wins? Well, following the play late in the first half that he got his foot stepped on, Nussmeier missed a few routes. Rich, at that point I thought he might actually be injured. He was missing some throws that ordinarily he makes, one in particular to Anderson on an out route where Anderson was open for a sizable gain, at least 20, and Nussmeier threw the ball well out of bounds. And I began to wonder at that point if he was having a hard time planting, getting a good push off, because there were 2 or 3 throws that he missed early in the second half, even one at the end of the first half, and you went, maybe he's not quite right here with the ankle.
Yeah, I mean, after his foot got stepped on, he played his worst football, and he started sailing balls, making bad decisions. It really looked to me like it might have affected him because the throws were wide. And when you're talking about the Anderson, that was an easy throw, wide open. It's something that he completes 10 out of 10 times, and it just got bad for him.
I thought that he was laboring a little bit, but I kind of talked myself out of that a little bit later on, but just follow along with me. They got to a point in the second half where everything changed, and that drive was their second drive of the second half. And on that drive, LSU had the ball down in their own territory because the A&M punter's pretty good, and they started driving their own 12-yard line. That drive got them to a 3rd and 2 on the first sequence. They had thrown to Lacey for 6. They had after their obligatory false start to begin the drive. Yeah. They got 8 yards of the original 10 that they needed. And it was 3rd down and 2, and this is where everything changed for the Tigers. Nussmeier rolling to his left, trying to buy some time, put up what, in my opinion, was his worst decision and throw of the year. A floater that was intercepted by B.J. Mays and returned inside the LSU 10-yard line. Making matters worse, this is when Marcel Reed came in the ballgame. And I was surprised only that it didn't come 2 drives earlier. I thought that Reed would start the second half for A&M, and it seemed like when he came in the game, LSU had no idea who he was. If you have a backup quarterback that hasn't played, I guess I get that a little bit. We were in the Georgia Dome in 2001 when Rohan Davey got hurt, and Matt Malk had not played very much that year, and he came in, and his running threat absolutely threw Tennessee off their game. They were prepared for Rohan. They were prepared for the big arm. They were prepared for Josh Reed. They were not prepared for Matt Malk because he hadn't played, and LSU ended up winning the game. To not be prepared for Marcel Reed is inexcusable. He has started 3 games. He's played in 4. Everybody knows what he can do, and when he came in, it was like LSU started rustling through roster sheets going, who's this guy? And I didn't quite understand that. Reed ran it in on the first play, of course, and that made it 17-14 LSU. The following drive, LSU got bailed out on a double penalty with a pass interference and a personal foul on the same play, and that kept the drive alive. They did make a very nice drop-off to Lacey, where he made a nice catch on another poor throw by Nussmeier. Lacey took it basically almost off the ground, got him in the field goal range. This was the 3rd field goal that would go awry. I can remember blaming field goal stuff on kickers. I can remember blaming it on snappers. I have a hard time remembering a game where at least 2, if not 3, were all on the holder. Because neither of the spins on the first half field goal attempts were true. Both of them were sideways. Now, it was at the edge of Ramos's range. I don't know if he would have made them had they been spun properly with the laces out, but we'll never know.
The 49-yarder wasn't there.
It was short.
It was short.
It was short. Now, is it short if the laces are out? I don't know. Maybe. That's right at the edge of his range. Okay, if it's a 37-yarder, he's supposed to make that. A 49-yarder, that's right there at the end. So I don't know if he makes them or not. This one he never got an opportunity to kick because the ball was snapped. Kelly looked like he was more upset with Todd than he was with Roy, the holder rather than the snapper. So I don't know. They caught him saying a bad word on television. So he was very upset with Todd. So that's 3 on that. At least the holder had something to do with. Things got worse from there because they come back with the next drive, and not only was Reed effective running the ball himself, it opened up everything on the read option game, be it Le'Veon Moss, who we knew about coming in, or Amari Daniels, who had just some devastating runs for A&M. They go right back down the field. Reed keeps and scores again. A&M's got the lead with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter, and they would never give it up. The next the next drive lasted 2 plays. This was the interception on the out route. I wasn't sure if this one was completely on Nussmeier's decision-making or if it was just a bad throw. You thought that this was a bad read by him.
It was a bad read. He read man, it was zone. I mean, it is what it is. He thought he had an out route breaking on a man, and they dropped zone. He threw it right at the guy's hands. I mean, Nussmeier, look, he's played great all year long. This second half of football is the worst football he's played since he's been an LSU Tiger.
This was rough. So A&M gets the ball back. Reed only threw 2 passes the whole night,
and he out threw Wegman 70 yards.
Yeah, he did. Wegman was a mess. This was the screen that set up a first down and goal. They get a touchdown, but a blindside block runs that back. They still, even at 1st and goal from the 18, managed to score. Reed kept it again. He would score 3 times on the night. That's more touchdowns than he had scored on the ground all year. Now, LSU did respond. They put together a gutsy drive at the beginning of the 4th quarter. A nice throw to Aaron Anderson that got down inside the 5-yard line. Green's touchdown was overturned, but they got the tush push. They got Nussmeier in the end zone. 2-point conversion was no good. 9:57 to go. It's 28-23 A&M. I did not think at that point that LSU was going to win the football game. I thought that A&M was going to go down and score again because they had no idea who Marcel Reed was.
Yeah,
they had absolutely no answer for him. I'm sure that they will tell you that they prepared for him and practiced for him. All evidence to the contrary, because they had no idea what to do with number 10.
They practiced for Green last week. I mean, there's no
and they did a
Yeah.
fantastic job with him. What Reed does better than Green does is he runs the read option
it's
better.
the read option. I mean, the way that he sits in the pocket, and you're watching Savion Jones crash down and blow up the running back, and he pulls it at the last second. I mean, that's how the zone read's supposed to be ran, and he ran it perfectly.
And then I thought that, after they made it 28-23, I thought that this was the call of the night for A&M's offense. They've got a first down. There's still, at this point, 10 minutes to go, just under 10 minutes to go. So there's plenty of time. If LSU can get a stop, which I had no confidence in their ability to do at that point, there's plenty of time for them to score. They can still win the game. They're within 5 points. And A&M pulled something on first down that I would have never expected them to do, and obviously LSU didn't either, because Reed unleashed a gorgeous rainbow throw right down the middle of the field for 54 yards to set them up. 2 plays later, they were in for a touchdown. It was 35-23, and that was sort of the issue. Okay, where to go with this thing? LSU couldn't run the football. They averaged a yard a carry. This was the 11th best rush defense in the Southeastern Conference going in. So we're not talking about the 78 Steelers here. LSU never could run the football at all. I think the longest run they had of the night was Nussmeier's scramble. Williams might have had one that was close, but even with minimal yardage being taken off for the sacks, they averaged 1 yard a carry.
They had 24 yards rushing on the second drive of the game. They finished with 24.
Yeah, with all the negative yardage, and most of it was on the backs. It wasn't even on the quarterback sacks, which ordinarily do those things. Nussmeier, he made 3 bad decisions. I don't know if the ankle was bothering him on the bad throws, but the ankle doesn't have anything to do with the decisions. And sometimes, and this is what
the first one really made me mad, because
that's his worst play of the year.
He got a lot of pressure. Throw the god dang ball away.
Yeah,
and
you've got the lead at that point.
You got the lead at that point. Throw it away, punt. Your defense is playing good at that point. I mean, but he tries to force the ball, and look, I get it if you overthrow it, but the way he lobbed it up on that guy, I mean, it's inexcusable about the decision making he made.
Yeah, he's going left.
Yeah,
and he's got to contort himself. He's got to throw it up there. A 4th-year quarterback, he's just got to know. And listen, you take the good with the bad with Nussmeier. He's made a bunch of dynamic throws. The throws against Ole Miss won the game. He's made a bunch of monster throws. He made some in this game. But what was the concern going into the year was that, hey, sometimes he's a little bit too overconfident for his own good. He tries to the gunslinger in him comes back out, and he turns the ball over. And that happened three different times tonight.
In SEC play right now, he has 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough. So you couldn't run the football. Your quarterback made 3 bad decisions. Your special teams were abysmal tonight, and your defense, which played really well in the first half with Wegman in the game, if he plays the whole game, Nussmeier could have thrown 6 interceptions. LSU still would have won. But you had no idea what to do with Marcel Reed. Came in, again, this is a guy that has played a lot of football for A&M. He is not an unknown. He's not an untested quarterback. He's played conference games. They've won those conference games. You should have had some better idea with what to do with him, and they just didn't.
They scored 31 points in the second half, and it's all accountable to him.
So all of that and 5 more false starts. So this one was tough. If you thought the Ole Miss game was maybe one you should have lost, and you ended up winning it, there were a lot of ways that LSU could have won this game tonight. A lot of ways, but that's not how the score is going to read. That's not how the highlights are going to play. You had to watch this one from start to finish to know that LSU really squandered some opportunities in this game and were their own worst enemy for most of the night. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LeBear's hotline. We'll take your phone calls. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Sports will be back.
And our favorite stars will make us cheer again.
But for now, we're all rooting for a different kind of hero.
And doing our part
to make a difference. Keeping our distance
and protecting the most vulnerable.
Let's embody the best parts of sports.
Teamwork, sacrifice, resilience.
One goal.
Together.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. A&M wins at 38-23. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LeBear's hotline. Let's start it off with Matt in Florida. Matt, welcome into the show.
Hey, guys. So I called in a few weeks back, and I was complaining about us starting out down by double digits, and I think I'd said at the time it was 10 games, but looking back, it was 9. Now, Ole Miss ended up being 10 games that we got down by double digits. And the crazy thing about that stat is I think we won like 8 out of those 10 games. So when we get up this game by double digits, I was thinking to myself, like, hell, I don't know if I really like this. So we finally get out to a
Well, they fixed that in a hurry, didn't they?
Right. Well, we finally get out to a double-digit lead, and the result of that is we lose by 15. But one thing this game did remind me of was in 2011 when we played Alabama and we came out in the second half and we started running the option, and it looked like Alabama wasn't prepared for it, and we kind of were able to win that game. But this was kind of like this on steroids. But that kind of reminded me of that, where they really weren't prepared for it. But and the one other thing I was pointing out, when he threw that interception, he was like he was just talking about that he was mad about. Dixon was just talking about he was mad about. That was on 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, all we need is 2 yards for a first down, and you're still slinging it downfield. But anyway, I just wanted to say that and get your thoughts on it. Thanks, guys.
Well, it's 3rd and 2. We averaged 1 yard a carry, so that wouldn't have worked either.
Yeah, you had to go for it on 4th down. Now, there's a situational awareness, and this is the perplexing thing about Nussmeier. Dad's a football coach. He grew up in the game, and sometimes, and there are times where he makes the right decision. He's done it a ton. He's having a really good year. Okay, but tonight, all evidence to the contrary. I mean, look what he did in the first half. I mean, it's the same defense.
Yeah.
It changed quarterbacks.
I texted you in the first half. This is the best half of football he's played.
This is the same defense, and in the second half, I don't know. We'll get a better look at the film. We'll see, but I don't know how much they changed up as far as the looks he was getting in the secondary. I know they got a better pass rush, but those interceptions were on him. I mean, with bad decisions, bad throws, both. Those
you take
were
a
on
sack
him.
or you get rid of the ball. You don't make dumb decisions.
That's a football IQ thing.
Yeah.
It's 3rd down. You're deep in your own territory, and you got the lead.
All 3 interceptions came in the plus side. I mean, that's what we can talk about, them putting up 38 points in the defense, whatever, with them going to Reed as a quarterback. Okay, I'm good. Every interception was in the freaking plus side of the football field.
Yeah.
It gave them short yardage. I mean, the guy ended up with, they had 130, 140 yards, whatever it was, passing yards. They gave them the short side of the field. It was just dumb decisions, bad timing. You don't do that on that side of the field. Now, look, I want to sit here and be mad at Nussmeier, but the game, he threw the ball freaking 50 times again. We have no rushing game. The rushing game is god-awful. When you average 1 yard a carry, you have nothing that can take the pressure off of Nussmeier. He has to make every freaking play. So as mad as I wanted to be at him for making dumb decisions, he has to make dumb decisions because he's got no other freaking option.
499-9898 is the number to call. Ryan's in New Iberia. Ryan, welcome into the show.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking the call. I have to echo what the previous caller just said. I think we're putting our quarterback in some bad situations for the start of the game because of our lack of running game. And if we're going to point fingers, I have to point us to that. We don't have a running game, and I could imagine being a quarterback for LSU with every time you drop back and throw the ball, it's a pressure situation. And it's more of a comment, not a question, how we fix our run game. But I think that's how.
All right. You're in. This is the 8th play-in date. You kind of are what you are with the rush game.
Yeah.
And they ran it better last week against Arkansas.
Against a bad rush defense.
Right.
And our 2 best games are against South Alabama and Arkansas rushing the ball.
I hate to be the one to break it to you. Statistically, this was not a good rush defense for Texas A&M. Notre Dame ran for almost 200 on them. McNeese kept the stats a little bit skewed with the McNeese game because they were hopelessly behind and kept running the ball, so they compiled some garbage yards in that one. Mississippi State ran it for $125 against them last week, and Mississippi State's the worst team in the league.
Yeah,
they were starting to show that at least they had a heartbeat, and today Arkansas ran them right out of the building. So I don't look at A&M's rush defense as being one of the top 2 or 3 in the league. Statistically, it just doesn't. It doesn't
we rushed
show
the ball
that
on them early in the game. The second drive, we were busting runs. We had a 10-yard run, a 13-yard run. We were moving at 4 and 5 yards at a time. And the thing we're not talking about yet is, and I don't know if it makes the biggest difference, but Dellinger going out crushed us. We did not gain. I'd love to see the breakdown in the second half, and I'll see it tomorrow, what we did in the second half rushing. because we finished with 24. We had 23 on a second drive of the game, and then he goes out and we do nothing.
I'll give you the second drive of the game, Rich, but they weren't exactly gashing him when Gallagher was in the game.
They weren't gashing him, but they had runs that set up the pass.
Yeah.
You get a 3 or 4 yard run, you move the ball, it looks okay. In the second half, I think we got hit for a 1 yard or no gain almost every single time we hand the ball off.
It did look like they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
499-9898 on the LaBerge hotline. Matt is in Baton Rouge. Matt, welcome into the show.
Hey, guys. If you can't run and you can't stop the run, everything else is sort of just lanyap. I mean, that was the ball game. But something you said that was really smart a couple weeks ago that kind of showed itself tonight is this LSU team has a lot of 50-50 games. You can't say any game looking forward on our schedule is a loss, but you really can't say any of them are wins either. So every LSU fan saying, oh, we should have won tonight, we should have won tonight. You take the USC game, you take the South Carolina game, you take this game, you take the Ole Miss game, and you throw them in a bucket. We probably should have gone 2-2, and we did. And so if you want to say we should have won tonight or we should have beat USC, you also got to admit we probably could have lost to Ole Miss or could have lost to South Carolina. So going into the bye week, probably exactly where we should be, and we got a chance to do just about everything we want moving forward.
I agree 100%.
Wow, that was really well said. We'll let him
Come do the show.
Yeah, he would do the rest of the show, man. We're going to take the rest of the night off. And I said that about a month ago, and I feel it even more strongly now. Vanderbilt shook the hell out of Texas today. You overlook that game, you'll lose.
How good do you feel about going into Vanderbilt right now? I mean, that's
I feel great because they don't have to. Vanderbilt's got to come here. If they had to go to Nashville, be scared to death.
Yeah.
Okay. They're still fairly hard to beat in this building, though Ole Miss had every opportunity to do it, and 3 of the 4 games are here. But they're all Oklahoma showed a heartbeat today. They found a little something against Ole Miss. They were in that game for most of the way. They're not good, but they're not dead yet either. And in Alabama, they took care of a wounded Missouri team today. There's still plenty of talent over there. No, none of these, and then you got to go to Gainesville. So none of those are sure wins or sure losses.
We've complained about the rushing game all year long. There's 3 games that made us feel okay, and we're like, oh, we got 101 yards, 135 yards, whatever. But this is a big problem. I mean, look, anytime your quarterback throws for 405 yards and you get beat by 15, that's freaking glaring.
31 points in the second half because you just keep, plus the 3 turnovers. Oof, man, it was a lot. It's going to be a rough film. It's going to be a rough film.
Charlie, I'm sorry. It's going to be really hard. I'm going to watch it. I'm already in trouble at home. Already made the wife mad. But,
right.
I mean, this was a tough game to watch.
499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take more of your thoughts on tonight's 38-23 Texas A&M victory. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. A&M wins at 38-23. 499-9898 on the LaBerge hotline. Carla is in Walker. Carla, welcome into the show.
Hey, Hanny.
Hey, Carla.
Hey, Rich.
Hey.
First half of the game, I thought about calling in and asking if Richard Baker had a fan club so I could join. But my question,
yeah,
why didn't they plan for the second team quarterback? Who's
That's an excellent question. You know, I kind of asked it half tongue in cheek in the open, Rich. Obviously, they put some practice time in with Marcel Reed. They're not oblivious to the fact that this guy played a lot of football, but boy, it didn't look like it.
No, I mean, look, when you're coming off a game going against a quarterback like Green from Arkansas, you feel like your guys understand the zone read option and the opportunity that the quarterback has to make the ball. But they were dominant in the first half. I mean, they did everything perfect. They knew the game plan for Wegman was executed perfectly. But when they got into it, I mean, look, I got to go back and watch the film, but there were plays we were crashing. I just thought the quarterback made great pulls. I mean, he was pulling it out of the running back's stomach as the running back's getting hit and kept making plays.
Can I say that, and this is something Gordy and I used to talk about when LSU would play Florida when Urban Meyer was there, and he would leave the quarterback vulnerable to hits. And my thing was, go hit the quarterback every time. And if Percy Harvin lights you up, then so be it. But quit trying to slow play and take them both, because you're not gonna. If they're going to give you a free shot on Tebow, go ahead and take it. All right. Marcel Reed weighs 180 pounds. Savion Jones outweighs him by 100 pounds. Okay. Now, Savion Jones is one of my favorite stories on this year's team. Okay. He has played his behind off. He put the work in the offseason. He gets my most improved award over, probably anybody on that team. And I love the way he played last week. I thought he played hard tonight. And he did what he's coached to do, which is he play that technique. But, boy, you know what I want him to do? I wanted him to go hit Marcel Reed so hard that he ended up somewhere in the third row. And if the back took the ball from Reed and ran 75 yards, so be it. But I'm going to hit the quarterback every time you give me a chance to.
I agree.
If I can legally hit the quarterback, I'm going to hit him as hard as I can every time. I'm going to make him pay a price for doing this. But they ride the mesh points, and they kind of let him play it off. And I don't know if Reed got hit, more than once, 2 or 3 times in this thing. That's me being a little bit frustrated, if you will. But
let's be honest.
If you're going to crash on the mesh point, make sure the quarterback gets hit.
Reed never had to drive the field.
No, he didn't.
We gave him the ball inside the 25 twice, inside the 40 once. I mean, every drive he had, it was a short yardage situation to where you have so much to worry about. I mean, we can talk about the defense. This game, we lost offensively. This game was lost by the offense. Nussmeier had a abysmal second half. We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't do anything. And then we gave them short fields in the second half to where, I mean, look, the yardstick, we outgained them by almost 100 yards. We gave them the ball with opportune moments just to freaking get inside the red zone.
Yeah. What do you think the plan was for Reed? Because they had to know that this was a possibility.
I think they were going to try to mimic the Arkansas game plan. I mean, it was something that they kept in there. They talked about that if this happens. But, I mean, look, when you get into the game and you're dominating the original game plan, it's so hard to switch. The change of a quarterback is a big deal. And most times you don't change a quarterback in a good situation. So for the second-string quarterback, the second option to come in there and dominate is very unlikely. Tonight it happened, but it also happened in short field situations to where you're trying to cover everything in a red zone situation to where he can even pull it and pass, whatever, give it, take it. There's so many things going on, but this is on the offense putting the defense in bad situations.
Yeah, and give the kid credit. Reed played great. There's nothing.
Scored, 30-something points with 2 pass attempts.
2 pass attempts. But he accounted for 132 yards. It felt like 3 times that.
Yeah.
It really did. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LeBerge hotline. Jules is in Abbeville. Jules, welcome into the show.
Well, we're not big and rich tonight, unfortunately. You hit the nail on the head, Charles, with your opening statement. So my question, we have not been able to run the ball since Brian Kelly has gotten to be the coach. As far as I'm concerned, they have 2 running plays. Hand off to the right side of the line, hand off to the left side of the line. And for some reason, tonight they chose to run it on 2nd and 10 and gain no yardage every time they ran it. Rich, why can't we run the ball under Brian Kelly?
Wait. I want to correct you, and because I know what you're saying, but it's not that they couldn't run the ball the last 2 years. It's that they had Jaden Daniels. Yeah. Jaden Daniels made up and masked a lot of deficiencies in the rest of your run game because he was your run game. And so maybe some of the things that might have developed in the run game outside of the quarterback were never necessary. Or, the offense was so good last year. I mean, if Daniels wasn't running, then he was throwing the 2 first-round receivers. I mean, all 3 of those guys
I think we ended up 2nd in the conference in rushing last year.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys are tearing up the NFL. I mean, they're all off to great starts.
It's a style of run, and this is something that Brian Kelly hasn't had to do. When you have a Jaden Daniels who can pull it on these zone read options, similar to what we're talking about, what Reed did in the second half, it opens up the game. I mean, you have so many different things that the defense has to worry about. The ends just can't crash on the running back. They got to worry about the pool. And, now it's just a style that, look, we keep talking about the experience of this offensive lineman. They've been together for 3 years, but they've never had to block this style of run. And it's something we're not good at. I think the tackles have done decent, and I'd say mainly Campbell's done decent. The guards have struggled with it. They're not getting to the second level to the linebackers. I mean, I'm going to go through the film tomorrow, and when we break it down on Monday, there was a couple of runs where it's the same thing every time. We're having a center reach up to a linebacker that can't get there, and it blows up the play. I mean, it was frustrating. I feel like we gave up on the run game in the second half. I don't know. We might have had less than 10 carries in the second half.
Run blocking is not run blocking?
Run blocking is
What I'm
depends on the guy
asking
who's
you, if
depends
they're
on
running
who's
a zone
carrying the
read,
ball.
if they're running a zone read, they don't know if he's going to keep it or if he's going to give it.
No.
Right? So in run blocking,
But how often did we give it? We had a guy that escaped the outside with elite speed.
Yeah.
These guys, I mean, it's everybody runs the ball differently. You got to understand how the running back's going to move, what the running back thinks. There's chemistry into a running back pressing so long before he breaks inside, knowing that the tackle's got to leverage on the outside versus his hands on the inside. It's nothing that we do good. Look, the only times we've done well is against really bad rush defense. This defense wasn't supposed to be really good in that, but they blew it up all night long.
499-9898 is the number to call. We'll take a break, come back with more of your comments. 38-23 the final. A&M wins it. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. A&M wins at 38-23. 499-9898 is the number to call on the LeBear's hotline. Mike is up next. Mike, welcome into the show.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
Good.
So, looking at it from my perspective, I think we were out-coached tonight, being that our defense wasn't prepared to play for their backup quarterback. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that there's an awful lot of evidence to back that up, that they did not have a real good idea what to do with him.
I disagree. I mean, look, it was not good when they swapped the quarterback, but we put the defense in terrible situations all night.
Yeah.
I mean, this was on the offense to me. I mean, when Nuss throws 2 interceptions inside the 30-yard line, they don't have to do much to get going forward. And look, yeah, once Reed came into the game, we were not prepared for that, but when you give them the ball on that side of the field, it puts so much pressure.
And I don't disagree with that. I mean, the one play that I thought completely swung all the momentum in the game was the interception that they got down at the 8-yard line. But watching them run the ball the way they did in the second half, I don't have a ton of confidence. We'll never know. But I don't have a ton of confidence that if Nussmeier pulls the ball down there, takes a sack, runs out of bounds, whatever, they punt, A&M gets the ball on their own 40-ish. I got no confidence when Reed comes in the game that LSU is going to be able to stop him. Now, I fully acknowledge the difference between driving 60 yards and driving 8 yards.
The spirit's broken. I mean, the defense, I mean, I think their spirit is broken to that point. They played the best half of football they've played for LSU in 3 years. That was the best defensive half of football, the way they played, kept them to 7 yards. They were stopping the second best rushing offense in the league. They had everything under control. But once you start giving that short side of the field, and look, the first interception, it was 1-play touchdown. I don't know how many yards Reed was accountable for, but I mean the plays they made in
that drive.
That drive was 1 play.
Yeah, he did the 8 yards.
They scored, and then we had a missed tackle on it. It was just situationally, we put them in such a bad situation that I think that their will was broken at that point. I mean, they did everything they could, and now their back's against the wall. I thought Blake Baker had a hell of a game plan for what they thought they were going to see. When they made the changes, yeah, it got tough, but they were given tough situations to make a play in.
Yeah, Wegman was off from the very beginning. The first pass he threw
sailed one for like 10 yards over the guy's head.
Yeah, and it was an open slant.
Yeah.
It was an easy throw, and he sailed it. And I thought, okay, he's sort of off to a rocky start, and he was all over the place. That's why I said I thought at halftime that they would make the move. I didn't see any. If Wegman is the quarterback the whole second half, they would have won the game even with the 3 interceptions, I think.
They'd have won by 3 because we did nothing offensively in the second half.
No, they didn't, but yeah, they would have had to. I mean, there's so much that went wrong in that second half. It's hard to pinpoint.
Look, and we can sit here and talk about the 3 interceptions and what Nussmeier did. And then look, it was every interception made tonight was unexcusable. I can't give a reason. I'll go back and watch film, and maybe I change my mind Monday. But it was just god-awful offense in the second half. And then you give the defense with short sides of the field. I mean, it was miserable. There's nothing you could have done in the second half. It was just a bad half of football.
The 2 field goals in the first half, if you make even one of them.
You put more pressure on them.
Yeah.
I mean, you make the decision-making change on the offensive side of the ball.
How did you feel at halftime?
At halftime, I felt like that it was going to be a close game because we left points on the board.
That's what I thought. Before I knew who was going to play quarterback in the second half, that was my one thought was they should be up more than they are. And then I looked at the yardstick, and now it's almost 2-1.
Yeah.
Now I really know that they should be up more than 10 points. And, man, I have seen that movie a million times. You leave points on the board, especially on the road.
It's 2 weeks look, we all talked about the Arkansas game, and we were happy about it. I was frustrated because we kicked 4 field goals.
Yeah.
That is not winning football when you get into the red zone and then you can't score. Like, I feel better about it busting a big play outside the 20 than we get inside the 15 and the field's shortened because we can't run the football. They start dropping into zones. They cover the passes. It is so hard for us to score inside the 20.
Well, and it has been. I think it's going to get a little bit easier because I think Trey'Dez Green is still a problem down there. Now, he makes a little bit of I was happy he didn't stretch the ball out and try to fumble it.
I would have stretched the ball out.
Better make damn sure it gets crossed because if it gets knocked out, you saw what happened in the Dolphins game last week.
I wanted to talk about that, but we scored on the next play, so I didn't mention it.
Right, but he's gonna help in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, but he has to look. Nussmeier. I'm trying to be very careful with what I say.
Your frustration is evident. I get it.
We force the ball to him on the inside, and we throw it high all the time because he's not open. We got to do something because they don't. No one in the league respects a run game from us, and I don't blame them at all. They all drop zone. When you're playing inside the 5-yard line and you have 7 guys drop back to cover, they don't think you can run the football, and that makes it harder on everybody. I mean, Green is your best option because he has so much length that he can be covered and be uncovered at the same time. But we have to be able to make those linebackers creep up, and there's nothing that we're doing right now that makes them want to respect the run.
You got any ideas about how to fix that?
Not yet.
No. I mean, I can suggest that you go under center a little bit more, but I'm not sure that solves anything.
No, I mean, look, everybody's talked about give Durham the ball. He had 14, 13 carries or whatever. He averaged a yard a carry. He busted one early. Williams busted one early for plus 10. But outside of that, I mean, every time they got the ball, they were hit behind the line of scrimmage. The guards were getting blown up. The center, we've had our problems with him. Like he's a tall guy. He's a young guy. He's learning. But then when you lose Dellinger, you had nothing to the left side. When I go back and watch, I'm almost positive they did not try to rush the ball to the left side after Dellinger was out.
You're probably right. I didn't think about it like that. They had the redshirt freshman Mubenga in at left guard. That's something that we'll take a look at. It does feel like we're going to spend 2 weeks ranking reasons for the loss. We're going to start with it's like a multiple choice question. Do you think it was A, that they threw 3 interceptions, B, that 3 field goal attempts were completely botched, 3, that they didn't prepare for the rushing attack that Marcel Reed was going to give them, or D, all of the above? But I mean, at this point we're ranking reasons for the loss where all of them played a role in this thing tonight. In a half
of football. No. In less than a half, because it all started with 8 minutes in the third quarter. Oh, I'm frustrated.
If he would have held Reed for 2 more drives, and then they put him in the fourth quarter, and it would have been too late at that stage. Maybe.
Now I'm wishing we'd have let Wegman complete a couple passes. I mean, God,
too hard on him.
We're too hard on him.
That's Blake Baker's probably fault, man. He was too hard
on him. Should have known better.
And he
don't knock the first string quarterback out.
He looked completely out of sorts. They had a very good game plan for him.
The offense scoring 6 points in the second half and rushing for 24 yards. Let's be honest, 3 interceptions. We can talk about the defense all night long. This game's on the offense.
I'm gonna carve out a little bit of the blame on the other side. Okay, as good as they were against the first quarterback, they were that bad against the second one. But your field position point is well made. I can't argue that at all. 499-9898 is the number to call. We're brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. Try the new parboiled rice, closest thing you're going to get to restaurant rice that you can buy and cook at home. It's got a delicious texture to it. You're going to love it. Part of the Supreme Rice family. Now you can get the brown, the long grain, the medium grain, or the jasmine. And now the parboiled rice from Supreme Rice. Part of the Climate Smart program, promoting methane emissions reductions, and promoting water conservation. Support our Louisiana farmers down in Southwest Louisiana since the 1930s. You can get Supreme Rice at Rouse's, at Walmart, anywhere you buy rice, make it Supreme Rice. 3 games in the month of November that you can get for tailgating. It's great for red beans, great for gumbos, great for stews and etouffees. More information and great recipes, go to the website supremerice.com. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues. 499-9898 is the number to call on the Bears hotline. I'm alerted to this quote that Wilson Alexander from The Advocate got from Greg Penn. Said LSU's defense did not prepare for the possibility that A&M would turn to Marcel Reed. Quote, we didn't think that he was going to come in the game, so him coming in the game caught us off guard.
Obvious.
That's inexcusable.
No.
That's inexcusable. I'm sorry. And again, I gave an example at the top of the show for the SEC championship game in 2001, and Rohan Davies, a part of our Sunday football Sunday show. I'll talk to him tomorrow morning. But when Rohan went out of that game, Tennessee had no idea what to do with Matt Malk, and Malk hadn't played very much at that point in his career. That was Rohan's team in 2001, and he got hurt in the championship game. Tennessee had a game plan that was in place for Rohan, who had a gigantic arm, and they were throwing the ball all over the field. Josh Reed won the Biletnikoff that year. Tennessee was prepared for that. They had seen LSU early in the season in Knoxville, and when Malk came in, blew their mind. Okay, he made a bunch of key runs. LSU won the game, and you know the rest of the story. I could take that, okay, because Malk really hadn't played very much to that point. Reed played 4 games. He started 3 of them. 3 of the games were against SEC teams. All of them were wins. If what Penn is saying is true, and I have no reason to believe that he would lie, then that's inexcusable.
No.
I understand if you say, listen, we spent most of our time preparing for Wegman because he's a starter, and not as much time preparing for the backup. Sure, there's only so much time you can practice. But if you're saying we didn't think he was going to come in the game, so we didn't do it, that's inexcusable.
I completely agree with you. And the only thing I can think of from a coaching standpoint is they put everything in the game plan for Wegman with the fallback of if they go to Reed, we can switch back to what we did for Arkansas, and it didn't work out.
No, not in their defense, because there is no defense. No, I'm sorry. I was going to say he didn't have as big of a game. No, he rushed for 91 yards that was against Bowling Green. He rushed for 83 yards against Florida. That's plenty, okay? He rushed for 91 against Bowling Green. Okay, that's Bowling Green. Arkansas and Missouri kept him bottled up. Arkansas, 10 carries for 13 yards. Missouri, that doesn't really count because he came in late in that game. So that was the one game Wegman was really good.
Yeah.
He started. They won that game 41-10. Reed got in the game very late, so throw that one out. He had 91 yards against Bowling Green and 83 yards against Florida. No, you had to know that this was a possibility. He had 34 carries in the 4 games coming into this. So that's bad. That's really bad. Matt is in Baton Rouge. Matt, welcome into the show. Matt? 1? Nope. Joshua's in Baton Rouge. Joshua, welcome into the show.
Thank you, man. Hey, first off, guys, excellent analysis. That's why I love listening to you dudes.
Thanks.
Tonight and during the week from now and back several years. Look, quick preamble. Man, I grew up watching the Saints and the Dolphins and the Tigers and the Spurrier Gators back in the day. And drives me crazy watching the Saints run pass 3rd and long, watching Florida tear it up, and then watching the Miami Dolphins throw the ball. And it's all about aggression. And I'm wanting to see what y'all think about Sloan and the play calling. And I feel like Sloan's not the answer, or just we're. I feel like you got a lot of people saying we're predictable, but we got a lot of talent, a lot of weapons, and I just feel like we're not kneecapping ourselves, but at the same time, it's just we're doing the defense a favor by just not mixing it up. And I'm going to hang up and listen. Thanks.
The numbers don't bear out what you're saying, and I get why you're frustrated, and I get why you think that because of the lack of the rushing game. But coming into tonight, LSU had the top score in offense in the conference in conference games only. And if you add all of the games, they're still 5th. And it was, let me see. It's 7 points behind Ole Miss. but it's only 4 points behind what Alabama and Texas are doing. So, by and large, the offense has scored enough points.
It's game by game. When we get into this game like this, the running game gets shuts down, and it does become predictable.
That's the frustrating thing is, I'm not without sympathy for Sloan in that he was trying to run a one-dimensional offense tonight. You can only run it so many times to keep the defense honest when you are getting a yard. I mean, you're starting every drive 2nd and 9.
I felt like there was points in the game when we knew we couldn't run the ball. We handed the ball off expecting nothing, just to show them that we would hand the ball off.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's just to keep them from cheating too much. So if you're frustrated by the lack of balance, I get it. But they are, for the most part, again, I understand the problems that they had tonight. But coming in the 7 games before this, they're scoring as many points as just about anybody in the league.
We moved the ball,
and in league games too.
We moved the ball at will in the first half outside the first drive. I mean, the first half we were hitting everything. The short passing game, the drag routes, the quick hitches, the passes to the back. We were moving the ball well. It was just in the second half for some reason, especially once we got behind and we started trying to press the ball down the field, they were dropping so much in coverage. And look, our offensive line was 3 sacks tonight? The most pressure that Nussmeier had seen.
Yeah, he had been sacked twice coming into the game. He was sacked 2 more times tonight. So
and he was knocked down a few others.
They doubled the number of sacks on the season. Ron is in Baton Rouge. Ron, welcome into the show.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
In that last series, when we were on offense, we only had 5 down linemen. Did you know that?
You talking about the last drive of the game or the last drive of the half?
Huh?
The last drive of the game or the last drive of the half?
Last drive of the game.
Last drive of the game. Okay.
5 down linemen on offense. And on defense, a lot of the second half, they only had 3 down linemen on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think the coaching staff has to be a lot of the blame what happened tonight, too.
There's plenty of blame for the coaching staff. No argument there. They dialed up some pressure at the end on the last drive because they knew LSU was in a bind. I mean, the game was pretty much decided at that point. I would go back to the when it was 21-17, and Nussmeier threw the ball on the outside. And that was the one that was picked off at the 26-yard line. They threw something different at him that time, Rich, where he thought he had man coverage and did not.
Yeah,
on the
I don't
outside.
know if it was necessarily different from the whole game. It was just a misread.
Yeah.
They ran a play to where it was well covered. He was matched. He thought that he was going to have an outbreaker, and that I want to say it was the cornerback was going to carry him, but the cornerback dropped off, safety fell, and I got to go back and look at it. But they confused him. He thought he was in man coverage, had a free outbreaking route. The flat defender flared, got the pick, and he was totally confused.
Was there a lot that you could see it? Again, we're going to go back and look at this, but it seemed like they lost more one-on-one pass blocking battles tonight than they had previously.
I think in the end of the game, I thought the first half,
they were fine.
I was talking to everybody like, this is what we do. We're a pass blocking guru. We can do that. I think when the pressure was dialed up, when we had to make passing plays and everybody in the entire United States knew we were going to throw the ball, they dialed things up and it got tougher.
Yeah, all of that. Frustrating all the way around.
Once you can't run the ball, and I really feel like we quit trying. Like we got to a point to where, look, we're going to run it on a 2nd and long, whatever. The run that made me mad was early in the game on a 3rd. It was the first field goal made or missed. I can't remember. We missed too many field goals tonight. But we had a 3rd and long, and we had just completed a 3rd and 15, a 3rd and 10. I think we were in a 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 situation, and we ran the ball trying to sneak past a blitz. I didn't like that run call right there because we had been pressing on those. But, look, they got beat tonight. We had the guard, they got pushed in there after Dellinger got hurt, struggled. But all around, I mean, we were very predictable once we couldn't move the ball.
The last drive that they scored on to make it 28-23 was a 9-play drive. There were 2 runs on the drive, but not counting Nussmeier's, the tush push at the end. There were only 2 on that drive. There were none, obviously, on the next drive, but they were down 2 scores with under 8 minutes to go at that point. The drive before that was only 2 plays because that was the incompletion and then the interception. And the drive before that, they had 3 runs out of 9 plays. So no, they and none of these runs that I'm talking about gain yards. So that's 3 drives, once with the lead by 3 points, once down 4 points, and once down 12 points. You got a variety here. You couldn't run it when you were ahead, but you couldn't run it when you were behind by a little bit, and you couldn't run it when you were behind by a lot.
I want to say it put pressure on them because we weren't trying to run the ball, but we couldn't run the ball when we tried. So, I mean, there was I can sit here and I was just as frustrated with everybody. The 3 picks were stupid, but he's got no help on the run game to take any pressure off of him.
Here's an idea. Just came up with this. Brian Kelly said something this week. This was at the Monday press luncheon that it caught my attention, which he said we don't have a whole lot in the playbook that is what you would call a quick hitter. There's not a lot of screens. They don't run the bubble hardly at all. There's not very many. They run it a little bit, but what you would call a long handoff, just these little throws out into the flats. Most of what they run is Nussmeier going through his progressions and throwing the ball down the field. And they've scored plenty of points doing that. In lieu of a running game, and you got 2 weeks now before Alabama comes here, and the season is not over, aggravating as everybody is tonight, myself included. Why not put a little bit of that in? Okay, these long handoffs, okay, these things that are getting the ball into your playmakers' hands on the perimeter in a hurry. I'm not saying go exclusively to that. Just add that. Because if you can't line up and run the football, you need something that is a little bit more fast developing to add to your arsenal.
Yeah, and look, I hate to say this, but we try to do a few things out to the wide, throwing the ball like on a little flare route to the running back. I don't know, at some point, I don't know if a receiver was hurt, and I got to go back and watch the film, but Shelton Sampson got in a good bit tonight.
Yeah.
Did not block on the perimeter at all. Those guys whipped his butt all night long and blew up a few plays when we were trying to throw it out to Durham on the side, get an outside receiver block, get a few yards, like you're talking about, get rid of it out. It's not necessarily a run play, but it is an extended run play. But Shelton Sampson was in on 2 or 3 of them that I watched that he did not block a soul. He got beat. And that's the first time I've seen him in those situations. So I don't know. I got to go back and look if somebody got hurt, somebody got dinged up, but he was in on more situations in the passing game that.
Well, put 14 out there because he's a big body, if nothing else. And, I'm not going to tell you he's a polished blocker, but as you point out in a couple of the film sessions that we've done, you can go look at these on YouTube, the Handycast. We've got the last 5 or 6. He is a willing blocker out there, if not a polished blocker.
If you go back and watch the Arkansas game, he was our best blocking wide receiver, and it was something he's done really well.
He's 260 pounds. I mean, he's 6'7".
He's a freak athlete.
Big guy.
I mean, he's
all
a
right,
guy
so
that can
get in somebody's way because you do.
But going back to that real quick,
yeah,
and I will say because I saw a couple plays tonight when we talked about, and it kind of confused me because he played so much against Arkansas, where he talked about trying to teach him the whole offense. He was lined up wrong 2 or 3 times tonight where Nussmeier had to go get him, adjust him, move him out. And maybe that's why at some point they put Sampson in because he knew where to be lined up and they didn't have to worry about that. But that's something that I'm going to make a note on to go back and watch.
Yeah. And again, these long handoffs, Durham is fine to do that because he's got great acceleration. But Anderson right now is, one of your playmakers. I'm all for getting the ball in his hands a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean.
That was a hell of a catch and run he made.
Shoot, that was.
He took that off the ground, man.
That wasn't a good throw by Nussmeier. No. Threw it behind him. He made a great catch.
I'm sorry. It was Lacey that took the ball off the ground. Anderson, the ball was behind him.
The ball was behind him on that. And he had to catch it off his hip.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break here. A&M wins it 38-23. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Sports will be back.
And our favorite stars will make us cheer again.
But for now, we're all rooting for a different kind of hero.
And doing our part
to make a difference. Keeping our distance
and protecting the most vulnerable.
Let's embody the best parts of sports.
Teamwork, sacrifice, resilience.
One goal.
Together.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
.1 Eagle 98.1 Game Day Stat Check, presented by Luba Workers Comp. Luba Workers Comp, delivering genuine dependability.
This is not going to make you feel any better. First downs, LSU 20, A&M 17. Total yards, 429 for the Tigers, 376 for the Aggies. Passing yards, 405 for LSU, 134 for A&M. Like I said, this is not going to make you feel any better. 24 rushing yards for the Tigers, 242 rushing yards for the Aggies.
That's a problem.
Penalties, 10 for 97 for A&M. And they got numerous personal foul penalties.
It helped us out.
Yeah, big time. The double when you had the pass interference and the personal foul.
And I love that on Turner from A&M because he was the one I caught a lot of clips. People sending me pregame. He was the one that was trash talking.
He was the instigator,
instigating stuff. And look, they missed one on the very next play. He threw a haymaker at a guy that got missed.
He just dirty. It was dirty. It was dirty. Now, on the other hand, I didn't think that the targeting call was necessarily a dirty play. I thought it was targeting, okay? He hit him helmet to helmet.
10 years ago, that's a great block.
Yeah. I mean, explain this to me before I get with the rest of the yardstick. I get that it's helmet to helmet and he's got to be ejected. All right, fine. But how do you get accused of throwing a block on a defenseless player when that player is the free safety in the middle of the field with his entire field of vision open to him?
It's soft football. I mean,
you didn't hit him from behind. I mean, the Sage is in the middle of the field.
That's
right?
the play that everybody growing up wanted to get. I mean,
it's a crackback block.
It's a crackback block. That's where you made the big hits. I mean, that's what you lived for when I grew up playing football, is to get that opportunity to just smoke the dude that was coming across the field. And look, by rule, he hit him with his head, targeting. And look, for us, thank God, because we needed something going on that drive.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you do. I mean,
you used to tell us, scream, if you had the view and your teammate did, crack back, so you could get your head on the swivel, you know.
That's what we were taught to do. I mean, it's a new age in football.
I didn't think it was dirty. I didn't think it was dirty at all.
It's not dirty at all. It's what everybody that's played football their whole life was taught how to do. Now it's just you got to get lower. I think if he hits him in the shoulders, he gets a little bit lower and makes the same block. It could be just as devastating, just as violent, but doesn't get the call.
But I understand why they threw him out the game, because the helmet's hit. Okay, so he's up too high. I get that part, but the defenseless part on the defensive back, you got a hard time telling me that the free safety's defenseless. I'm sorry. I don't think that's
not
dirty
part
football
of the
at all.
No, you can't say defenseless. Look, if you want to say he hit head-to-head, that's where he messed up, but he made the right play.
10 for 97 for A&M, 5 penalties for 35 yards for LSU. Those were all false starts. Turnover. How did it get to be 35? If there were 5 false starts, didn't we say 5 false starts?
There was 5.
Wouldn't that be 30 yards?
30.
I got something else I got to go look at. All right. 3 turnovers for LSU, 1 for A&M. Time of possession nearly equal. 30 minutes and 33 seconds for A&M, 29-27 for LSU. Individually, Garrett Nussmeier, 25 of 50, exactly 50%, 405 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He was sacked twice. Connor Wegman, 6 of 18, 64 yards, no touchdowns or picks. Marcel Reed, 2 of 2 for 70 yards.
100%.
LSU rushing, Josh Williams, 7 carries for 23 yards. Caden Durham, 11 carries for 15 yards. Nussmeier, 4 carries for -3 yards, and that was with the 12-yard run that he had that made a first down. And then the team had -11 yards as a group. Amari Daniels, 91 yards on 12 carries for A&M. Le'Veon Moss, 14 carries for 83 yards. Marcel Reed, 9 carries for 62 yards. Reed had 3 touchdown runs. Moss had 2 touchdown runs. LSU receiving, Aaron Anderson, 3 catches for 126 yards and a touchdown. Kyron Lacey, 5 catches for 106 yards. Caden Durham, 4 catches for 56 yards. 40 of those were on one play very early in the game. Texas A&M only caught 8 passes on the night. Noah Thomas had the 54-yarder. That was his only catch. Le'Veon Moss had 3 for 42. Defensively, Braden Swinson and West Weeks led the way. I don't remember him making this many tackles. They got this wrong. Yeah, that's Witt. That's Witt. 7 tackles apiece, 6 solos for Braden Swinson, 2 for Weeks. Swinson also had 2 tackles for loss and a sack. The other sack went to Greg Penn. He had 6 tackles on the night, as did Sage Ryan. Torian York with 7 tackles for A&M. To lead the way, they had 6 tackles for loss overall, besides the 2 sacks. So that's all those running plays you were talking about that got blown up. LSU punted twice for a 38-yard average. A&M punted 5 times for a 48.4-yard average, and 4 of those 5 kicks went inside the 20-yard
I think that
line.
played a big part early on. It felt like we were battling from the goal line all night.
Tyler White, the A&M punter, had an exceptional night. And that is your stat check. We're back with our final scoreboard. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we
98.1. The Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln College Football Scoreboard. Robinson Brothers Ford Lincoln on airline under the giant American flag.
One game still in progress. If you're interested, I think I know why. Hawaii is leading Nevada 23-7 with about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Everything else has gone final. Number 1, Oregon beat number 20, Illinois 38-9 today. Dylan Gabriel threw 3 touchdown passes for the Ducks. Number 3, Penn State went to Wisconsin, beat the Badgers 28-13. Penn State looking ahead to next week's game with Ohio State, who won today 21-17 over Nebraska. Will Howard threw 3 touchdown passes for OSU. So the battle of the Big Ten top 5 teams next week, Penn State and Ohio State. That game is at Happy Valley. Number 5, Texas survived. Number 25, Vanderbilt gave them all they wanted today. 27-24 was the final. Quinn Ewers, 27 of 37, 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. Vandy was in it. They battled the whole way. They were just a little bit short. They have now beaten Alabama and gave Texas all they wanted at home. A little bit different on the road, which is why I'm glad LSU's not going to Nashville in a few weeks. Number 6, Miami pounded Florida State 36-14. Cam Ward did not throw a touchdown pass tonight. He threw for 208 yards. He did catch a touchdown pass. They ran the Philly special on him. These two teams do not like each other at all. And Florida State, who was undefeated a year ago in the regular season, is now 1-7. Number 11, BYU remained unbeaten. They beat UCF 37-24. Cougars now 8-0, 5-0 in the Big 12. Think they'll let them in the top 10 next week? I know one team's going to be dropping.
Yeah.
Number 12, Notre Dame beat number 24, Navy 51-14. Hand the midshipmen their first loss of the season. Navy had not lost a fumble all year. They lost 5 today. 6 turnovers total for the midshipmen. Riley Leonard threw a couple of touchdown passes for Notre Dame. Number 13, Indiana, without Curtis Rourke, their starting quarterback, remained undefeated. They beat Washington 31-17. Hoosiers 8-0, 5-0 in the Big Ten. They picked quarterback Will Rogers for Washington twice. Ran one of them back for a touchdown. It was a defensive lineman that got that one. Number 15, Alabama, no problems with number 21, Missouri. 34-0 was the final there. Jalen Milroe threw for 215 yards. Brady Cook started this game, opened up 7 for 9, had to leave in the second quarter. Drew Pine threw a whole bunch of interceptions, and Alabama cruised.
Hospital wasn't close enough.
No, I guess not. Number 16, Kansas State wins 29-27 over Kansas. Number 18, Ole Miss beat Oklahoma 26-14. Jackson Dart threw for 311 and a score in that one. Oklahoma showing some signs of life behind Jackson Arnold at quarterback. Did not score, though, in the second half. Barn burner in Durham. Number 22, SMU wins 28-27 over Duke. That was in overtime, despite 3 touchdown passes from Malik Murphy for Duke. SMU 7-1, 4-0 in the ACC. They get undefeated Pitt next week. Virginia Tech beat Georgia Tech 21-6. It was North Carolina over Virginia 41-14. Both teams now 4-4. Ohio beat Buffalo 47-16. It was Memphis over Charlotte 33-28. Tulane goes to 6-2, 4-0 in the American with a 45-37 win over North Texas. Malachi Hughes late, y'all. Makai Hughes, 195 yards and a touchdown for Tulane. Arkansas beat Mississippi State 58-25. The team LSU held in check scored 58 points today and had over 650 yards of total offense. Taylon Green, who LSU pretty much corralled last week, threw for 314 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Will they have over 300 yards rushing?
They did.
30-something last week?
Yeah.
Big difference.
Week-to-week league. App State beat Georgia State 33-26. Miami of Ohio over Central Michigan 46-7. East Carolina beat Temple 56-34. Iowa over Northwestern 40-14. Minnesota beat Maryland 48-23. It was UConn over Rice 17-10. Wake Forest beat Stanford 27-24. Baylor beat Oklahoma State 38-28. Feeling a little bit better about Dave Aranda. They've evened their record at 4-4. They could have got that one at Colorado.
Yeah,
feel real good, but they blew that one on the Hail Mary. TCU beat Texas Tech 35-34. An 84-yard touchdown ended up being the winning score for TCU. James Madison beat Southern Miss 32-15. It was Akron over Eastern Michigan 25-21. Ball State beat Northern Illinois 25-23. Bowling Green over Toledo 41-26. Western Michigan over Kent State 52-21. UMass over Wagner 35-7. Tulsa over UTSA 46-45. Cal beat Oregon State 44-7. Colorado State over New Mexico 17-6. South Alabama beat UL Monroe 46-17. West Virginia over Arizona 31-26. Houston beat Utah 17-14. Promising season for Utah has gone off the rails. They are 4-4, 1-4 in Big 12 play. Utah State beat Wyoming 27-25. It was Arkansas State over Troy 34-31. Michigan changed quarterbacks. They beat Michigan State 24-17. It was Auburn getting their first SEC win of the season today. They beat Kentucky 24-10. Peyton Thorne to a touchdown pass, and Jaquez Hunter ran for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns for Auburn. Where was that, a week ago? Fresno State beat San Jose State 33-10. Colorado gets bowl eligible. They go to 6-2. They beat Cincinnati 34-23. Shedeur Sanders threw for 323 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leading rusher for Cincinnati, Corey Kiner. Remember him?
Yeah,
from LSU?
liked him.
Ran for 94 yards for Cincinnati. Travis Hunter, 9 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, I'd say he's healthy. Washington State beat San Diego State 29-26. And let's see if I got one more score for you, or do I? Yep, Florida A&M beat Southern 24-6, and Texas Southern beat Grambling 24-17, and that is your college football scoreboard. Game balls are next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Game Balls. Presented by WCK Foundation Repair. WCK Foundation Repair. Support your home team. WCK Foundation Repair.
I'll let you go first.
I'll go with Aaron Anderson with the big plays he made.
Yeah, he was really good tonight. 3 catches for 126 yards. The 76-yarder was the touchdown. The other long play ended up putting up setting them up down on the 3-yard line. They punched that in. It was their final touchdown of the night. That's a really, really good pick. Might have to go with that one too.
I don't know.
Kyron Lacy made some nice catches too, and a couple of nice moves. 5 catches for 106 yards is a very nice evening, especially since one of the ones the one he picked up almost right off the ground.
Great catch, great play.
3rd down, the key point in the ball game. So that was pretty good. Probably gonna hold it up right there.
That's
kind of where I wanna stop. This one was tough. A&M wins it 38-23. LSU goes into the bye week at 6-2 and 3-1 in conference play. We're back to wrap it up. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Get a free roof inspection by Garcia Roofing. GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
WDGL and HD1 Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
.1.
Wrapping things up here late night on Eagle 98.1 Game Day. All right, so here's, and nobody wants to hear this right now, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's still a lot of things on the table for LSU. This is not, said this before the game, the winner was going to have a leg up. Winner, really, really good shot to go to the SEC championship game. A&M is now 5-0 in the league. Their next two games in the league, they've got to run a win in November, but their next two games in the league are at South Carolina and at Auburn. They'll be in pretty good shape to win both of those games, but if they slip up anywhere, they got Texas in the final game in College Station. They've got a leg up. Nothing's guaranteed, and right now going on the road in the league, hey, look, anything can happen. For LSU, you're in a logjam with a lot of other teams, and I'm not going to, certainly not at this time of night, going to go through all of those possibilities. But if you end up losing out on some tiebreak, if you can win the rest and lose out on some tie,
you got to win the rest.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to win out.
Well, this is the thing. You can win out the rest and not make the SEC championship game. That's possible. You could lose out on some tiebreakers. You could win out the rest and make the SEC championship game. Either one of those things, I think, puts you in good shape to make the playoffs. I think a 10-2 LSU team that doesn't go to Atlanta makes the playoff. I can't prove it, but that's just what I think right now. If they go 10-2 and manage to get to Atlanta and lose there, I still think that there's going to be a strong push to have the SEC runner-up. Now, if you lose another game, then it's pick your favorite bowl game, whichever one is left, which with the current playoff is essentially college football's version of the NIT. Yeah. So where you go and who you play at that point, I'm not sure is the most relevant thing in the world. So you got your final four games at home. You're hard to beat in that building. If they'd won this game, it would have definitely been favored in all four. I still think they're going to be a small favorite over Alabama, and they'll definitely be favored in the other two home games. If Florida were to beat Georgia next week, then maybe in Gainesville. But you're going to have a great shot to win all these games. You could win them all. You could lose them all. You could do something in between. We'll take a week off. We'll regroup. I'm talking about us, not them.
Yeah,
we're going to take a week off and regroup. And Alabama comes to town for the next game. So LSU 6-2, 3-1 in Southeastern Conference play. Final score once again, A&M 38 and LSU 23. For Michael Patel, for Taylor Shaw, for Richard Dixon, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good evening. This has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
You've been listening to an Eagle 98.1 special presentation brought to you by